Hey everyone, welcome to the Coffee Run Live, episode 436. And what I would love to talk with you about today is why being you is the best future-proofing tool you could possibly use. Now, you guys all know that I'm very, very passionate about you sharing different elements of you, different parts of your story, different parts of your life and parts of your world in your marketing. And it's not just because I want to get the sneak peek in, but how's this? So I was talking to the very, very amazing, gracious, fabulous, kick-ass Jessie Alexander, singer-songwriter based in Tennessee, US of A. And this is a woman who wrote The Climb for Miley Cyrus. She performs The Climb a lot. She opens shows for Sheryl Crow. She is a very, very amazing human. I was very, very humbled and honored to be able to interview her this morning. And one of the things that we were talking about was what really, the advice that she had for you. We were talking about what it was like and what her experiences have been like coming up through the music industry and how, the rates of success are like a needle in a haystack. And I actually think that that's kind of similar with business owners, particularly when we look at the success rates of small business being 97% of businesses fail within the first 2 years. And 95% of businesses fail in the first 2 years. Of the remaining 5%, only half of them make it to 5 years. And then only, I think it's like half of them make it through to the 10-year mark. So the statistics are horrendous, right? But it's something that Jessie brought up this morning, which I hadn't even intended to talk about, was this topic of reinvention and revamping what it is that you're doing. So here's the thing. If you are with your marketing and with your business, if you've got the mindset that you're building yourself a personal brand, or building you up rather as a personal brand, so you're sharing your bits of your life, you're sharing your thoughts, your personality, you're sharing all of these different things, then what happens when we have something like COVID hit? You may not be able to do business or be in business or have your business go in the way that it was. I know a lot of you have experienced this. You've had to really quickly pivot and there was no choice. It was either pivot or bust, right? And for some people, it didn't matter. Like, it was still bust. But the thing that will support you is no matter what it is that you're doing, if you're wanting to always be in your own business, is building and creating a personal brand. So around you. Now, one of the reasons for this is it future-proofs what you're doing. Now, a lot of people, I know, like when I think about a lot of the people that I've spoken to over the years might be in network marketing, maybe they're coaching in a specific genre or in a specific niche. And, you go all out in that for a couple of years and stuff happens and you might lose your passion for that product or that niche or that segment. And the thing that can happen then is that a lot of people are like, well, fuck. I have to, put everything that I've done in the bin. I have to start from scratch. I have to do everything, from ground zero. And, it can feel like a lot of work. Right? And I mean, we know that success takes work. We know that success takes reinvention, pivoting, it takes revamping, it takes commitment, it takes grit, it takes tenacity, it takes all of those things if you are going to make it. And I suppose the thing though, that no matter what's going on in the world, if you decide to do a niche hop, right, where you might go from relationship coaching to selling art, you might go from being a personal trainer to more moving into line with being a food coach, which, I know those two things can be kind of aligned. You might go from being a therapist to being a coach. You might go from being a car driving instructor to, a counselor or a farrier, you know, I don't know, it could be something like completely different. But the thing that will always follow you is your personal brand. Now, if you're building up your likes, your fans, your followers, your brand, your kind of like your brand story around you, and not only making it about the product that you're selling, it makes it easier for you if you need to pivot or change later on down the track. So it actually, you know, I know it might feel a little counterintuitive because I ask you to share with me behind the curtain. So Jessie Alexander, case in point. So I knew I was interviewing her today. I've been chatting with her manager, her agent, and we were talking back and forth. I let them know what the questions I was going to ask them, and I was like, you know, I don't know a lot about Jessie. I know she's done work with, she's performed with Miranda Lambert, who's also a very well-known artist, musician. I knew that she'd done a lot of stuff. And so I've gone and I've done a bit of stalking. I'm like, let me just go check this chick out. Because I was referred to her. So I knew she'd be badass. But I was like, let me just go and, you know, find her and check her out. And one of the things that I was absolutely pleasantly surprised to see when I went, because I knew she's just released I knew that she'd released a new record earlier this year, and you know, I was like, I wonder what her profile will look like. So when I've gone and looked at her social media, there's photos of her family, they're fishing, they're chilling out, there's photos in there as well about the album, of course, and the singles and stuff. But I was just like, oh, how refreshing to feel like I'm not just getting the veneer. You know, I'm not just getting this perfectly curated, perfectly polished, perfectly professional type of view of the world. And I suppose, like, if I think about it, you know, particularly country music artists, their music does tend to embody all of that, right? It tends to embody, you know, family and being outside and, you know, love and heartbreak and, you know, all of those kinds of things. And I suppose that, you know, maybe it shouldn't surprise me, but it did surprise me to see that there was some of this behind the scenes stuff, and it made me kind of like, I wasn't nervous about interviewing her, but I was just a little bit like, I wonder how this is going to go, because she's incredibly well known, and I'm like, I'm just like little old Nicola living in Mildura, you know, interviewing this really big star. And it was kind of like when I went and looked at her stuff and I listened to some of her music, it felt really congruent. It felt really authentic. And I actually asked her about this on the interview today. I said, so, you know, I did some stalking and I saw that you have shared some more personal photos and personal imagery. You know, how important is it to you, do you think, to share that with your audience, with people? And it wasn't a planned question because I only just discovered this in like the last 24 hours. So it was just something that kind of came up. And she said, I don't think I have a passionate answer about that. But, you know, and then she started talking about being real, right? And being authentic and being you. And I was like, yes, absolutely. But for me, what I loved, and I shared this with her, and you'll get to, when you buy a copy of Into the Spotlight, you'll get access to the interviews and all of that stuff. But it was really like what I said to her, I said, it was just so nice to feel like I got a glimpse of like the behind the curtain versus, you know, the very curated version that we get, or the manufactured. It didn't feel manufactured at all. And that was what I really loved that. And so if you think about it, like if you've got the essence of you pouring through and rippling through your marketing, rippling through your posts, rippling through your imagery, and it's really authentic and congruent to who you are, then guess what happens? There are people who will follow you even if they are not the kinds of people to buy what you're selling right now. You know, I've got people who follow me who don't even have a business, but they're just like, you know what, I love your passion, your enthusiasm, and you know, I don't know what else they say. because they don't always tell me, but that this is the thing that they do tell me, that, you know, I haven't got a business, but I find you really motivating. I'm like, okay, cool, that's great. But who knows what might happen in the future? Maybe I'll choose to do something different and sell and offer something different that has maybe nothing to do with business. And they're like, oh my God, I'm buying this because I love you. Right? I'm buying this because I just, you know, I've waited for years. I've waited forever for you to have something that I can buy that fits with what I want. And that's what a personal brand does for people, right? It helps them to connect with you. It helps them to feel like they get to know it. It helps them to fucking fall in love with you. And I think that if you think about all of the people that are marketing on the internet, all of the people that are selling everything, like really what is missing out there is authentic leaders, authentic and real people who are demonstrating by walking their talk that they are living the best life that they possibly can, right? And that they're real. It's not just, you know, throwing out some fantastically curated motivational clip that makes you feel really good all the time. You know, it's letting people know a little bit about behind the scenes and what's in your heart. And what that will also do, inevitably, you will fuck up, right? It's just part of human nature, whether by hook or by crook, you'll make errors along the way. And the thing that will see you through is that, you know, if you've made these errors and you've made them from a place of, you know, I really thought that I was doing the right thing, but you know what, I messed up. You know, I'm really sorry. If you're being real, and if people can see your heart, and if people can feel like they can get to know you, and that they, you know, they're like, you know what, this is completely against their nature. This is completely against her nature or his nature. And, you know, it gives you what I like to think of what Stephen R. Covey was getting at when he was talking about building trust in the trust account. And in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, he talks about this. And it's a little bit like, I guess, you know, I turn up every day, right? I turn up every day for you guys. And I know that sometimes I say the wrong thing. I know sometimes that I'm being the best version of me that I can be every single day, but I screw up, I mess up, I'm human. And so what that hopefully buys me, by me showing up with who I am, that if I do screw up, if I do mess up, if I do say the wrong thing, that you guys can say, wow, you know what, that was not cool, but we get it, we forgive you, we know that was not what your intention was, and it's okay. So it buys you I don't know. It's almost like a bit of leeway, I guess, because, you know, and that's how relationships are built. If you think about your partner, or your best friend, or someone that you really trust, or your boss, or your employees, your staff, if you're out there doing the right things, or, you know, as often as you can, and you screw up, they will forgive you for that, right? Or if they screw up and they've built up this trust, I mean, it depends on what it is. But if they build up this trust, then there's often you can create a pathway back to that trust. But it's about showing people your heart. And I think the thing that is really key in order to stand out, in order to cut through the noise, to step into your spotlight, to be visible, everything that you do, you guys, it's got to be from a place of you leading from you. And that takes huge amounts of courage. It takes you being vulnerable. It takes you, you know, putting yourself out there, and maybe not always having all of the right answers or the best answers, or, you know, whatever it might be. But it is so important, because there is so much bullshit out there. There are so many people out there who are selling things that are like not right, not real, not true, whatever, or just, you know, quite frankly, just don't fucking work. And, you know, they're ripping people off left, right, and center. So our bullshit detectors are higher than ever. And the way that you can help kind of like relieve that for your audience is by really showing up and being you. So some things that you can share that I think are really important. Some things that you're doing in your downtime, right? So do you walk? Do you take nature photos? Do you work out? Do you go to dance classes? Do you do 80s aerobics? Do you cook? Do you sew? Like, what is it that you do as a spare time hobby, or just something that you do for downtime? What else do you do? It's not just, you don't only work, you don't only do the thing that you do. So, have you got kids? You can talk about your children without talking about your children, right? You can tell stories and share different parts of you without disclosing where they go to school or showing their jumpers or even showing their faces, right? But for a lot of you, and this is what I really loved when I saw Jessie's profile this morning and last night, I was like, I could see photos of her kids, and then I realized that she's a mum of 3, and she's just like, this woman is amazing. Like, what a powerhouse. It's amazing. So, it was like, that was just kind of like, oh, wow, okay, that's really cool. That's super cool. And it made me feel like I could get to know her just a little bit more before even talking to her. And that's what we want to feel. That's how we want your audience to feel as well. So share stuff about your kids. Share stuff about your partner. Share stuff about your friends. There's the line there, and do things in a way that's not wanky or inappropriate, of course. But I think it's really crucial that you do that, and that just helps people feel like they're getting a bit of a sneak peek behind the curtain so that they can really get to know you. That is the thing that is going to future-proof you, because in 5 years' time, it's probably unlikely that you are doing things in the same way that you're doing them right now. So if you've got the thing that never leaves you is, this human body, unless you're dead, and then you don't need to market yourself, you're done. But like, the thing that doesn't leave you is your body. The thing that doesn't leave you is your personality. The thing that doesn't leave you is your values. The thing that doesn't leave you is you. And so if you think about, instead of like trying to strategically future-proof against anything that might come up, like COVID or whatever else, think about creating a personal brand. Think about marketing you as a human, as a person, because no matter what you're selling down the track, even if you go back and get another job, having a strong and powerful personal brand online, I think it's like 70, I did some research for an article that I wrote last year, and I think it's something like 78% of employers will go and have a look at your social media profile before they will offer you an interview. Maybe it was like 80 or 90%. It was a huge number. I'm like, wow, right. So even if you think about it, if you're future-proofing and building your personal brand, all of this time, if you need to pivot and change, even if you're exiting the business and going and getting a job, having a powerful personal brand helps to sell you as being the person that you are, the amazing person that you are. Hi, Gaia. Hi, Sarah. Great to see you guys. So that is my sermon for you today, and with really cool insights, like I said, from Jessie. Can't wait I'm going to get to writing this afternoon so that I can get that to the publisher for Monday so we can get it included in the book. Thank you, Gaia, for the introduction. Really awesome. And that is that. So build your personal brand. Focus on sharing stuff outside of the work that you do, because that is not who you are. Your work is not who you are. It is the vehicle for you living your purpose. It's the vehicle for you living your passion in this moment. And we don't know what the next 5 years is going to hold. So yeah, you're just going to get out there and make it happen. So I am going to love you and leave you. Rock on, my friends. Get out there, go help some people. Have a whole ton of fun doing it. Remember, the world is ready for your brand of awesome. Now, if you would love some help doing these things, then Contentology is a really great place to start. It's $97. We're going again in July. You can go to nicolamoras.com.au/events. I have to think about the link there for a second. And we can make July your best month ever. I'm really, really excited about making July your best month ever, actually. We've also got Funnelicious that is happening, which is all about building fun funnels. Fun funnels. It feels like I should sing Mary Poppins. Fun funnelly, fun funnelly, fun funnelicious. And, that won't probably link. You've just got to put the W's before that, before that link, but you guys are really clever. Oh my God, my watch is talking to me. She needs to shut up. So we've got all of that happening. We've got the 30-day challenge happening again throughout July, which is very awesome. You, me, group of other badasses, 6 a.m., whole ton of fun and accountability while you just get your stuff implemented and get things rolling. What else is happening? If you're a more of a one-on-one person, then I think there's a link down the bottom there for you to find out more about that as well. So there is a plethora of help out there for you, and the thing that you've just got to do is get out there and make it happen, girlfriend, because the world is absolutely ready for your brand of awesome. Have an amazing weekend. I will see you on Monday, and meanwhile, get out there and kick some ass. I love you. Bye.